Hi everyone, and welcome to our series on the Bluebook. I have a section on each rule in the Bluebook, so feel free to jump around after this introduction. I'd like to remind you all that we have a lot of resources available here at the Research Center to help you with Bluebooking. Librarians are available at the reference desk Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you're not on campus, try the Ask a Librarian form on the Research Center website. If you want to practice Bluebooking, you can check out the Advanced Citation tab on the Scholarly Writing Research Guide. Callie has also created lessons that cover the basics of legal writing and citation, and the Lexis Interactive Citation Workstation will quiz you on the correct format of cases, statutes, secondary sources, and more.
The Bluebook can be intimidating. It is a large reference book, so how do you even use it to do what you want? Well, first, there is an extensive index in the back. Always start with the index if you're not sure what to do. If you do know what you want but can't quite remember the details, there is a quick reference chart in the front and back of the book. The inside front cover is a guide to academic legal writing. It covers how citations should be done in footnotes for law review articles. The back cover is for legal writing and covers how to do citations for briefs and memos. Inside the book, I would use tabs to mark the places you'll use often. So the first question many students have is, when do I cite? This might seem pretty basic, but a lot of confusion about citing can be cleared up if you have this goal in mind. Page 1 of the Bluebook starts with General Principles of Citation. The central function of a legal citation is to allow the reader to effectively locate the cited source. Always be sure to provide sufficient information to allow the reader to find the cited material quickly and easily. This is different from what many of us are used to in undergrad, where the first thing they always say is what? Plagiarism, right? We're concerned about plagiarism in law school too, but the main goal here is to effectively communicate where your ideas are coming from and how binding those ideas are on the court. A judge or person reading your paper will be better persuaded when there is a consensus about the proposition you are writing about. A strong citation is the proof you provide.
So, when formatting your citation, try to follow the format, but always ask yourself, if I were reading this citation, would I know exactly where to find the information that the author is citing to? If you cannot easily find the source itself, the correct page in the source, and the proposition on that page, then the citation has not done its job.
We will go over many sources in detail throughout the course, but there are some basic guidelines you should follow in researching. Citation is much easier if you work on it as you go along. Be sure to write down the correct party names, authors, courts involved, and the correct date for your sources. When you're citing to a statute, note that you are citing to the date of compilation, which is rarely this year. Federal statutes were last published in 2018, for example. If you're citing to something more recent, you will need to cite to the statute at large or a more recent official source. If you're in the habit of copying all your citations out of Westlaw or Lexis, be aware that you still need to proofread them. Westlaw rarely provides a date for statutes you copy out of the database. In a lot of case law, Westlaw automatically provides parallel citations to other court reporters, which isn't the default in the Bluebook. It doesn't always abbreviate law reviews and journal names correctly either, or properly format article titles. We'll talk a lot more when we get into academic writing about the use of id and supra, but you need to keep an eye on the order of your citations within your paper.
There are a variety of rules you're going to need to get comfortable with to write memos, briefs, and academic papers, either for class or in practice. Although the general format for a specific source can be the same, the font, location, and short citation rules can be very different. Luckily, the numbering for the blue pages, aka the rules for court documents and legal memos, mirror that of the white pages, aka the rules for academic writing. The one exception is 17. B17 is for core documents, while Rule 17 is for unpublished or forthcoming sources. I would tab these rules in your Bluebook before you start writing.
Keep in mind that the Bluebook is not the only source you need to use. The Florida Style Manual and the Florida Rules of Appellate Procedure, specifically Rule 9.800, both govern how you cite cases in Florida. Your boss or professor may also have a preference. For example, they might prefer italics over underline, so pay attention to their guidance. You also need to look up court rules before you file a brief. They can usually easily be found on the court's website. If in doubt, always ask. Most law firms keep a repository of old memos and briefs for new associates to copy. These are very valuable resources and you should take advantage of them. This is just a preview of what kinds of materials we'll be covering in the coming weeks. The next video will cover how to cite secondary sources, namely books and law review articles and legal periodicals. This information will be especially helpful for students who want to work on journals or who are preparing to fulfill the upper level writing requirement.